Google Classroom is an underrated messaging tool for teachers and students. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the various ways that students can add public and private comments, and also encouraging you to have a conversation with your students regarding what type of comments they want to see in Google Classroom. Right now, I'm signed in as a teacher into Google Classroom, and you can see that I've posted a kind of beginning of year question right here for my students to answer. Just something simple, share one interesting thing that you did this summer. And I really am doing this primarily to get students some experience in working with the question tool and understanding the various different options that they have. Now, I'm going to switch over to a student account and just show you one thing that has the potential to be very confusing to a student. So here I am in a student account, and there are actually 3 different places that a student can reply to this question. One of them is the correct way, and then 2 of them are different options that they have. Now, right here, you can see I have private comments, and this is a major change that Google has made to Google Classroom in 2018. This previously used to be the public or the class comment area, and so by typing here, Peter's comment would be visible to every member in the class. This is now the private comment area, and when Peter enters something here, only I, the teacher, will be able to see that. I anticipate that at the beginning of the 2018-19 school year, teachers are going to get a tremendous amount of private comments because a lot of students are thinking that they're leaving a class comment. So that's the first thing here. This is a private comment, and this is where students should be asking me a question about the assignment. Say, I don't understand this. Can you help me with problem number 6? Something along those lines, and I can message them directly. Now, just above that, it says your answer. Because I'm using the question tool, this is the official place that students need to respond to the discussion question. You'll notice that Peter has already responded. He went to the Grand Canyon, and it has marked his assignment as done over on the right. Now, Classroom is intelligent enough not to show the other classmate answers until the student has submitted their own. So because Peter has submitted his answer, he can also click See Classmates' Answers, and he can see what all of his other classmates did this summer. So that's the second place that a student could type an answer. We have the private comments down here. We have the official, your answer to the question. And then the third is up here at the top, and this is the class comments. Now, this is the area that gave teachers a little bit of trouble in the past. These are comments below the actual question itself. And typically, students will just kind of chit-chat in this area, which frustrates a lot of teachers. So you're going to need to decide how you're going to handle these class comments. You're going to get a ton of responses that just say hi, hey, things like that. It may not actually benefit anyone or add anything to the assignment. Now, I like the idea of the class comments. The idea here is that if a student has a question about the assignment, he could post something here for the rest of the class to see, and they could help one another reply to it. Say, when's the due date for this? Does anybody have a copy of the handout? I lost mine. Things of that nature. If you don't give a little structure and do a little coaching, this area can quickly become out of control and become difficult to manage. Every time someone posts a class comment, you, the teacher, are going to get an email notification. Students may as well, depending on how their notifications have been set up. So it can be a bit of an issue. Now, my recommendation is that you leave this feature on and allow students to use it for a few days. I anticipate that you're going to get a lot of this, and it's going to be quite annoying, and students are going to start to complain. And that's actually a good thing. That's the idea. Once that occurs, I would pull your students together and say, hey, people have been telling me that the class comment area has gotten a little bit chaotic, and people are getting too many notifications. I think we need to discuss how we're going to use that in this classroom. What rules should we have regarding these class comments? And then you let the students begin having that conversation and discussing what the rules and parameters they want to instill and allow them to self-police those comments. Now, I anticipate most students will follow whatever rules you come up with, but there'll be a few that still kind of push the limits. And so I want to show you, if I go into the class comments, now I'm a teacher again, if a student is not following the rules or whatever. So for example, if Susan is not posting beneficial things, we can go in as a teacher, click the snowman on the right side and select mute. And that will prevent that particular student from leaving comments on any post. They can still do all of their work. They can still answer questions. They can still turn in assignments. They just can't leave class comments for everyone to see. So it's kind of like putting them in a little bit of a technology detention. I would handle that kind of one student at a time rather than just everyone together. Now, just as a quick reminder, you do have a couple other options if you just don't want to deal with the class comment feature at all. If we click on the gear in our course, scroll down to the settings, the general tab, you'll see right here, stream. And these are your different options about what you can allow students to do. By default, this is set to students can post and comment. Generally, I recommend you bump that down to students can only comment. They can't add something to the class stream. They can just comment on something that you have added. But you have the ability to adjust this at any time. I like the idea of allowing students to set their norms, their rules for the class comment setting, and then allowing them to police it. If that doesn't work, you always have the opportunity to disable it entirely.